jogging before this one, and I had to remind myself that there is round number 5 of the Superbet Romania Chess Classic 2024. You guys tell me who you're rooting for in this round, or maybe in all the rounds, and what's your favorites. We will be perusing through as many as we can. We got 5 top games played by Super Grandmasters. Which one should we look at? They all are enticing and they all are interesting, and we want to see them all. Okay, let's look at this one, and then we're going to visit the other games as well. Okay, got myself 2 hefty cup of coffee now, so that should keep me going. Whose turn is here? Daniel's turn. A very difficult game playing Nepomniachtchi, I would imagine. So what we got in here after Rook F, this guy being attacked like twice. Oops, by the knight and by the rook. So you do have this move here, which is a check. Pawn takes, and that's what it is. Other than that, where do you go? Can you go knight e5? I guess you can go knight e5 as well. Maybe you want to go knight e5, maybe knight d3, attacking this guy, but this guy's going to go over to a7. Yeah, it could be. It might be. On the other hand, if rook makes pawn c2, you're going to have both e2 and b2 attacked simultaneously. So you got to keep in mind that thing as well. If you want something with tempo, you could just play knight f6 check, gf. Then you could take rook takes, and then you could potentially play rook ac1. Given the fact that rook on d8 will not be able to play on d2 because the knight just stops it. That might be the case very well. So looks to me attractive. Knight f6, gf, rook takes, forcing rook takes, and then rook a to c1, attacking the bishop with tempo. And bishop's got to go. Bishop must move. b6, a7, could be any of these. But good stuff is that the knight on a3 will stop any rook d2 to attacking you on e2 and b2. So I guess that makes sense for white. Other than that, you could also take the bishop. What does that mean? That mean that if you take, rook might take you first though. Then you take, then the other rook takes. And then you can't oppose the c file, the other black rook. So on the other hand, if you remove the bishop on c5, that's good because it's a dangerous piece. That bishop is really dangerous. Difficult to assess this one. Of course it is. 43 minutes for Daniel here and 1 hour and 25 minutes for Nepomniachtchi. A lot of time. A lot of. So feel free to type in your favorite responses here. If it's knight f6 or knight c5, which one would you choose to play? Okay, we'll see about that. Let's go to Anish and Alireza. They played the Semi-Slav defense. Okay. Takes and checks and moves and checks and rook blocks and rook takes and king takes. So looks like a draw if this were to happen. But what kind of draw is that with 3 pawns versus 1? So you see, that's I think it's something that it's advantageous for black if white were to do that. It's just 3 pawns versus 1 on the queen side. That means very much. It's 3v1. So he did do queen takes queen. Now, if you want to maintain the pawn structure, you could just take with the rook. I don't think that's a problem, right? The rook takes. And if there is any check, king moves. Check again, d7. Rook blocks. What do you do? Rook takes, king takes. I'm not sure. Reason being, as we said previously, it's just 3 pawns versus 1. It doesn't look good. For white, that is. It doesn't look good for Anish. Now let's see what Alireza wants to take with. I think you could take with the rook. I don't think it's bad. Take with the rook. You keep your pawns connected. You've got 2 pawn islands. But he decided to take with the pawn. Interestingly, and Anish just played instantaneously. Rook d7. A little bit defensive, rook b8. Yeah, we'll ask the engine later on and check if we actually, if black might have been better to actually take with the rook rather than the pawn. Okay, a bit defensive now, rook b8 defending the bishop. What can I say? A little bit unexpected. And isolated pawn here. Now, if I am to ask rook e7, how does black play against this? Like, how do you defend this guy? If you do rook e7 with white, how does black defend this? What's going on here? Well, you could push, then I'm going to take, then you play c5, bishop attacks, and you're going to go back, I guess. And then you may even have this, bishop c4, attacking along the line squares. I don't think it's bad. Yeah, so I would say rook e7 now, attacking the black pawn on e5. Makes sense to me. Rook e7. I think it makes sense. You also have to be careful about another aspect here. Let's assume you play rook e7 going for the pawn, right? Okay. Well, no, actually, if king attacks, you could just simply take. Then can they play this? They can. In order to do this, in order to do that. And pressure on the f1 pin piece. I guess they can. We'll see. We'll take it step by step. I guess rook e7 can be played now. A pawn is a pawn. You don't get checkmated. It could be rook e7, then what? King f8 or e4? It looks like the e5 black pawn will be captured. Okay, that one can't be saved, I guess. Okay, shall we go to Prague and Wesley? Perusing through the games, my friends. Looking now at all these games happening as we speak. What did they play? Indian defense, King's Indian. King's Indian. Whose turn is it? White to play. Okay. White to play. Well, why not drop this guy back to oppose the bishop and then go for something like this? That makes sense. I like it. Rook fe. Maybe. But bishop b2 is good to opposing the bishop on g7. And then some knight to d5, perhaps. You don't want to trade here the bishop for the knight, because this bishop is just taking everything from you. That would be a very bad move to exchange the knight on c6. So that's that kind of stuff you mustn't do. No, you mustn't do this. Absolutely not. So rook fe, bishop b2, that springs to mind now. I think makes sense. Not sure about e3. Although, maybe it's worth considering e3. So these are the candidate moves I'm seeing available for white here. I think bishop b2 my favorite. But we'll see about this, what they decide to play later. 1 hour, almost 1 hour for Prague and 54 minutes for Wesley. Plenty of time, plenty of time. So let's look at this. Abdustorov Gukesh. Abdustorov play with the black, Gukesh with whites. Ooh, a queen being attacked. You move away. You move away the queen. Question is, though, where you go with the queen. Can you go queen c2? And if bishop f5, maybe you go queen b3? I'm not sure. But queen c2 for a starter. Queen c2. You're not going to do this because you're weakening the dark squares. You're weakening the king side very much for white. So you're not going to play f3. You're going to play queen c2, I guess. Totally. Not f3. I don't think so, f3. I really don't think so, but... Queen c2, right? Queen c2, then some bishop g5. And let's see what black chooses to do after that. Queen c2, that makes sense, queen c2. $56 here for white and 1 hour 9 minutes for black. My candidate move is queen c2 here, the first candidate move I can think of. I didn't check at all if we're actually okay with the multi-broadcast. I hope we're okay. Let me look on the YouTube page and see if we are actually okay with this. I think we're okay. Yes, I think we're good. Okay. So queen c2. Let's go to the first game now. MVL and Fabi. MVL white, Fabi black. Queens have been traded already. No more queens here. White pawn island's looking better, but black is boasting the bishop pair. Do you know something interesting? If the bishop were to take the knight, just saying, if the bishop were to take the knight, white would be forced to capture. And then following bishop e4, you will never ever move that bishop and the pawn on d5. These guys will stay there forever unless you want a second exchange. On the other hand, you no longer have the bishop pair. Does that mean anything? Well, it means, but your bishop here will attack on g2 or on h1 forever. There you go. Bishop takes c5. Exactly as I said. Bishop takes c5. So we don't need the engine because we're thinking similarly. D takes c5. And then if you do bishop e4, eventually f5, probably they're going to draw. Probably they're going to draw. Probably. Then some bishop e3 for white here. And then some bishop d4 and probably. But let's look at this one now. Rook has to take. Rook takes exactly. And rook d1. Rook d1, right? You got to do rook d1. I mean, what else do you do? You can't do anything else because this one just exactly. You are forced to play rook fd1 because if you had played f2 or f3, we would have had this. Okay. Interesting. You got to go back because you can't move on the second rank because of this. Checking the king and winning the bishop. So you got to keep your rook on the back rank all the time. Makes sense. Rook f. And if Fabi wants, he could just make a draw, threefold repetition, ladies and gents. That might be the first draw we're seeing in round number 5. Because of the perpetual bishop d3, bishop c2. And that's going to be a threefold repetition draw if they keep doing that. Draw, probably. Yash, hello, man. Good to see you. I think you're referring to the previous game. Sorry, I haven't seen your message previously. I'm going to go back to that game. This one, I think, going to end up in a draw. You're talking about Gukesh and Abdustorov, right? Let me see. Hey, there you go. Queen b3, exactly as I said. Bloody hell. I said, what did I say? I said queen c2 here. And I said queen b3, bishop f5. But he played queen b3 regardless because probably he's looking after the b7 weakness. Like this. He's going for the pawn. He's going for the pawn on b7. And okay. We'll see. Will black give up on the d file, go over to b file now to defend the pawn? Would black do something else? I'm not sure. Would black just push b6 here? Again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what black is supposed to do. I need more time to think about this one. And luckily for them, they do have a lot of time, so to speak. I'm not sure if rook b8 is better or rook d7 is better. Well, though, you got to tread this one carefully. There is also a knight here attacking a5 constantly, pressurizing b6. You got to keep the black knight there because there is this. So there's a couple of things. There is also bishop g5. But anyway, black's the move and b7 is under threat. So I'd assume you don't want to lose that pawn, right? Let me see, 2, 4, 6, 3, 3, 6. No, the material is equal at the minute. Black can't afford losing b7. You've got to do something to defend b7. And I don't know which one is it here. Is it rook b8 or rook d7? You tell me, Ash, if you want to play something for black here. I'm curious. Anyway, I was right about a queen c2, queen b3 idea because that's exactly what I was saying to our friends previously. Wesley Prague here. Pushing the pawn. Yeah. I did say that one too. b6, yeah. I said rook b8, rook d7, b6. Yeah, something like this. Something like this. Yeah, maybe b6, perhaps. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe, yeah. One of these three. I'm not sure if it's something else. Yeah, b6 makes sense to me as well. Yes, yeah. b6 makes sense. It does. Okay. Let's see this one here. Prague Wesley. Wesley Prague. Wesley Prague. Wesley White. Prague with the black. King h2. Defending h3 here. And okay. King h2. Being chosen by white. I like bishop b2 though. There's nothing here unless you want to push c5 with white. Anyway. I'm not sure. Maybe. Because there is also rook here, so maybe you want to push c5. It is black's turn, by the way, so let's not jump to conclusion quickly. Now that's interesting. Bishop attacks the queen. Probably want to do queen b1. We got to be careful about this one. Queen b1. I really don't know what else is here. Queen b1, and you still have to be careful about this. Like if knight on f6 plays something, the bishop on g7 attacks c3 straight away. So you gotta take care about that idea. So queen b1, and you need to worry about the knight on c3. So that's what I said, that maybe bishop b2 would have been better previously. But anyway, I might be super wrong. Now queen is being attacked, so you could also take the knight if that's really what you want to do, but then black takes and rook will going to be attacking a2 forever. Yeah, maybe. Okay, two main things to do here being white. Queen b1 or bishop takes. Oops. So queen b1 or bishop takes b4. Which one is it? Which one's your favorite? Or maybe you've got a better square for the queen. But what does that mean? Queen b1, bishop b4. Yeah, of course, it's not comfortable. It attacks the knight. Knight has to move, and a2 being attacked anyway. So it's not very comfortable. It's not. I don't like it. So queen b1, perhaps. Yeah, bishop b4. It's just, yeah, but then queen b1, right? Yash. Where else do you want to go? Sometimes most of the things it looks like they are being like forced or something. I mean, it's good to do stuff that forces your opponent. Yeah. Yeah. Queen b1, we'll see. So, Anish Alireza here. So, I did say about this one that is actually, that's a pass pawn now. So, we had 3 versus 1 pawn majority, like 3-4 moves ago. Exactly, 3-4 moves ago. And he did play bishop c4, as I said I would play myself. King b1, b4, in case there is this, he thought about playing some bishop on the... But black didn't. They created a pass pawn. But you know, guys, when you have pawn majority, try to create a pass pawn. That's the main precept. That's the main teaching. When you've got pawn majority, you take advantage of your pawn majority by creating a pass pawn. And that's exactly what Alireza did. He got a pass pawn on the A file. That's like that. And there is some other stuff. If I were to give black another move, what do you think about this? That's a disaster, so you can't do it. But you could definitely play bishop c8. Anyway, it's white's turn, so let's just not just jump ahead. It's white's turn. Yeah, these are interesting prospects, bishop c8 and stuff. But more importantly, rook b1. More importantly. You gotta be very careful, actually. You've got to be very careful because would have been also checkmate on this side. So, but now anyway, he did just that. Rook, what? Wait a second. That's a mouse slip. Yeah, of course it's a mouse slip. Sorry. ba5. White to play. Wouldn't you say maybe it's time to play maybe some king f1, getting with the king a bit in the center? Do you think it's too slow, perhaps? I mean, you got to take care about the back rank. I'm not sure. Black seems to be better here, right, Yash? Because they've got a pass pawn on the A. That definitely means something. That definitely something, right? It's a pass pawn, it's a pass pawn, you see? Prophylactically, I guess rook d1. Yeah. Yeah, sure, rook d1. I don't think it's bad. I was just wondering if I can keep the control over the 7th rank. And just moving king a bit in the center. But it's a problem with the pass pawn. King f1, king e2, rook d1. Yeah, they're both okay. But it might be rook d1 the most important move to do here. Maybe. Maybe rook d1, rook b1 in order to do bishop b6. This kind of stuff, you see. And also because you're going to go in the back rank and you need to defend against the back rank checkmate. So, yeah, rook d1, given a chance, rook d1, rook b1, bishop b6, so you can take that bishop off the board. Okay, maybe. Obviously, black's not going to stay in. It's not going to just sit and watch this happening, but it's good to point towards the main idea here. So, yeah, rook d1 makes a lot of sense. Makes all the sense, rook d1. I agree. I agree. Yeah. I agree with rook d1. Okay, and the last game. Daniel Nepomniachtchi. Daniel is white. 3-5. What? Oh, wait. Oh, it's Blackstone. But nevertheless, Daniel has gotten pawn maturity. But there is also something like this, which is this threat here. That's serious. It's the, yeah, I think this is serious. Blackstone's play. How do you actually defend against this? Ah, you might be able actually to play rook f7. But okay, maybe. That's actually quite that's quite complicated. Yes, very good question. That was exactly my question as well. And I guess the answer probably is at least partially rook f7 and then you move the knight or something. I mean, it's not really the defense we're looking for. So knight e, rook f, check. Rook, that's a question. I don't know what you're doing actually. I don't know how you defend f2. I don't know. There's many things here. I don't even know which one is most aggressive for black. Knight g4 or knight e4? I don't know. I guess knight e4. Knight e4. Just, I mean, you gotta be direct. I don't know how white defends it. Maybe he wants to give up on that. But wait a minute. This is serious trouble. You're actually losing the knight as well. Yeah, amongst others. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, absolutely. So let's assume knight e4. Maybe knight takes. Nah, because it's this. So it's got to be with the rook. Rook takes check. Rook f7 at least defends the knight. That's quite a complicated little position here. That's a complicated one. Knight e4, rook f7, rook f2, check. You move whatever you move. Let's say g1. Rook takes b2. Absolutely. I think black is doing very well. That's not very good for white then. It's good for black. Following knight e4. I guess knight e4 it's the most aggressive, right, Yash? Yeah, I think knight e4 is the most aggressive move. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Knight e4, you might lose one or even 2 pawns. I'm not sure how you defend f2. I'm not sure how you defend f2. Well, you kind of cannot. You're going to get checked. Problem is trying not to lose the knight. And by the looks of it, rook f7 protects the knight for the time being. That's quite complicated. I don't want to be white here. I don't want to have the white piece. It doesn't look good. After knight e4, it doesn't look good for white. I'm not sure what to say. Okay, we'll be back. And yes, MVL and Fabi draw. They drew because, yeah, it was just that repetition. It was just that repetition. Let me go to the end. Yeah, they did this stuff. Where is it? No, 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 no. Here. Yeah, they did this pretty much all the time. C2, D3, C2, D3, D1, F1, D1, F1 all the time. So that was a draw. Okay, fine. Gukesh and of the store, Bishop F5. I did speculate Bishop F5 for black ages ago. B6, as we had suggested previously. Yes, exactly. He didn't play Rook B8. He played B6. Makes sense. Makes sense. Bishop B3, B6, Bishop G2, Bishop F5. White's play now. Would you do Bishop G5? I think I would. I want to develop the bishop. I want to attack the rook. If black goes for this, that will be weakening of the E6 backward pawn, right? Then I'm going to play Bishop D2. Can I do that? I think I can. Unless you want to do... Yeah, there you go. Bishop G5. Exactly as I said. Bishop G5. Yeah, we definitely can. Absolutely we can. Bishop G5. But I'm happy I've indicated the Bishop G5 move, which I would play for white. Again, I think that's one of the best exercises that one can do in chess to try to anticipate the Super Grandmaster's move without recourse to any engine. So Bishop G5 makes sense to me, and I did say you attack this one. F6 could be playable, but it's a weird move, but you could, I guess. You could do F6, but you're blocking, you're shutting off your bishop. You attack this guy, though. They're going to go D2. Okay, knight C7. Yeah, but then you play rook D. Yeah, but then you have this. And then you play F3. Okay, that's quite complicated. Actually, what is the reply? Is F6 actually playable for black? Well, it's kind of playable. I think it is. It's not that appealing, though. I mean, I'm not very fascinated about this, but it might be a reaction. F6. I mean, it's awful if you look at it. It doesn't look good. Frustrates the bishop a bit. I'm not sure. Moving the rook, like, where do you want to move the rook? Actually, where would you move the rook? Like where? Here? B8, C8? Where would you move the rook? But there is another thing. You could also play bishop F6, though. You know, you could do bishop F6. But if you do bishop F6, bishop H6, and it's going to stay there. Then bishop G7, then bishop takes, king takes. Maybe. 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 Removing the king's defender. That bishop on G7 does a tremendous job in protecting the black king. So I'm not sure what to say about exchanging bishop now for black. I mean, white would be happy, I guess. White would be happy to trade off the black bishop on G7. Yeah, that makes sense. Rook C8. Rook C8, yeah, that's one of those moves. Rook C8, yeah, double attack on C4. White needs to take a decision. White needs to decide how to defend the knight. Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. Totally. Totally makes sense. Rook C8 for attacking on C4. More than understandable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then we can speculate knight e3, and if knight takes, bishop takes, attacking the queen and attacking b6. So what can I say? You could do play knight e3 afterwards, not just challenging the knight, but also challenging the bishop on f5. So there's definitely something, yes. So rook c8, I don't say it's bad. I don't say it's bad, rook c8, But you got to take into account knight e3. That's serious reply. It's a nice reply. It's a very good reply, though. Because you attack the bishop on f5 at the same time with challenging the knight. So, and then again, if black takes, you take back with bishop e3, attacking queen and b6. I always go for trading my opponent bishop, especially if they did the fianchetto. I always look for trading this guy. If I have a dark square bishop, I'm always incredibly keen on trading that bishop. Because it's the king's guardian, you know, you take one piece that defends the king. You take him away, of course. Of course. Makes sense. But then again, rook c8, knight e3. And I don't know what black plays. I don't know what black plays. We need to sit down and think more. So knight e3. I mean, we already sat down, but just saying. Rook c8, knight e3. Knight takes, bishop takes. I'm not sure what you're doing. Yeah, and also for black would be interesting to trade this guy. But how do you trade it with your bishop? How? Because you cannot. Not at the minute. Yeah, okay. Rook c8 and knight e3. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's go to another one. Wesley and Prague here. Oh, because we just discussed this idea. Black wants to trade the bishop on g2. King's guardian, after all. You want a trader. White to play. What would you do? Would you trade? Would you ignore? Would you improve things? What does it mean? What does it mean improve things with white? Would you take the bishop? Bishop takes c6. Knight takes c6. I don't know. Also, I don't like the knight on h4 very much. Yeah, you could block with the knight. Sure, of course. Knight f3. If bishop takes, you're going to take back. Thank you very much. It's good to having the bishop reigning supreme on this b7, g2 diagonal. Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yes. Bishop b2, finally. I said so many times the bishop wants to go back and depose the bishop on g7. I said so many times this idea. I've said it. And bishop b2 better than bishop on a3. There's nothing here, unless you want to do some c5 at some point. So bishop b2 makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Bishop b2, which he did do. Bishop b2, he did play. Now black's turn. I would definitely trade off this guy. I would. I totally would. I would always take my opponent's bishop, protecting the king. I would always trade that bishop if I have an opportunity. I think you should. Yeah, okay, they're going to take back with the knight. Okay, I get it. If you don't take it, though, they might do knight f3 at some point, and I don't know, is this what you want to have? Just take the bishop. They're going to take knight g2, probably. Bishop takes g2, knight takes g2. And black needs to think about something else. Okay. Bishop g2. Yeah, I would play bishop g2 for black. Bishop g2, knight g2. And then, I don't know. Queen d7, try to connect the rooks. Hello, Tao. Hey, the pass pawn. This one is a big problem here. So what did they do? Wait a minute. So b4. Okay, creating a pass pawn out of the pawn majority. Rook e7. I did speculate that move. But that guy's going down. Okay, rook takes. And he pushes, he pushes, he pushes. White's turn. You got to tread very carefully. You've got a potential check here. And then you have to play the... There is also rook to a5, which must be played, I guess. ASAP. Must be played ASAP. Are we going to go to your idea, knight d7 or... but this one here, Anish has to be very careful. You got to tread very carefully here. What would you do? Would you do rook? What would you do? Rook a8. Rook takes. Bishop takes. And then you got to march on with the king. That's a long, bloody journey. I don't know what to say. How do you take the pawn after all? You're going to have to keep the bishop here all the time. If you play rook a5, black's going to play rook a8 for sure. If not something else, I don't know. So you do this, and black's going to play rook a8. Rook a5, rook a8. And then you must take rook, and bishop takes. And that bishop on c4 has to guard a2 forever. I'm not sure what you're doing then. King f1, you're going to go to collect the pawn with the king? Although it will take you so much time. You've got a pawn majority on the king side, but very difficult. Very difficult. I'll probably do rook a5 here. Because if you don't, black's going to play rook a8. So let's say you don't play rook a5. I don't know what you're playing. Let's say you play h3 or king f1. Black's going to play rook a8, and then they're going to push. And then you can't stop it. I mean, you just lost the game. So I think rook a5 is kind of like forced, or I'm missing something, guys. Yeah, I think rook a5 is kind of a must for white here. I think it's a must. I guess. Am I missing something? Yeah, rook a5. I don't know what else you do with white. You tell me, guys, if you see something else for white. Rook a5, rook a8 takes, draw happy. I'm not sure it's that much of a draw. Maybe it is in Engine's perspective, but for humans, I think it's still playable. I think I would draw here if I was white. Or yeah, I think I would draw. I'm happily accepting draw here. Anyway, difficult one. But rook a5 must be played. So let's go now to the last game in round number 5. Daniel. That rook f2 couldn't be stopped. And we knew that, Yash. We knew that. Exactly as we said, rook e2, rook... Okay, so rook takes b7, knight e4, which we did say about this. We said about this move. He played knight d4, attacking the rook. Rook takes check. King g1, fine. You can't move the black knight because you lose the black rook, obviously. Pawn attacks the knight. And white's turn. What do you play? Can you do b4? No, you can't because you lose the knight. So you have to move the knight. You have to move the knight. Where? Like, where do you move the knight? Probably here or here. c6 to attack e5? I guess that's what I would do, I guess. Or do you go e6 in order to attack g7? That's another thing. Hello there, Marlon. Yeah, so it looks to me like two main things here for white. You either go this in order to capture, or you go knight e6 in order to take g7. Which one is the best? Which one is best? A pawn is a pawn. It's important to take. Also, g7 important. Very important. Black knight can't move, because if black knight moves, then the king takes the rook. So black knight is a bit fixed. You can't really move it. Very interesting. Unfortunately for white, it's only 17 minutes. Unfortunately for white. And more time for black, as you could see on the screen, guys. 1 hour, 18 minutes. Oh. Well, the pass pawn would be taken with knight c6, so to speak. Of course, black might engineer some rook f5 or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. Not sure. I'm not sure. Knight e6 is great. I like it. I like knight e6. I really do. I totally like it. Rook e7. Knight e6, rook e7. What rook e7? I don't know if I understand what you're meaning by rook e7. I don't know what you mean. So knight e6 for attacking g7, Yash. Knight e6 to attack g7 twice. How you defending that, or what, rook e7? I don't know what you're meaning. Ah, knight c6, rook f5, rook e7. Yeah, I get it. I get it now. Now I understand. Okay. Knight c6, rook f5, rook e7. Yeah. I guess you're going to take that guy. Yeah. A bit complicated. I kind of like them both. I kind of like them both. Which one is the best, though? Which one is best here? Knight c6 or knight e6? I like them. I really do like them both plans. Both plans seem to be okay. That's a good question. Which one is the best move? Which plan is the best plan though for white? Yeah, maybe knight c6 after all. It's important to take everything you can whilst you can. Yeah, I'm not sure. Also, knight e6 to attack g7. That's important too. Black king will no longer have any pawns to be shielding behind. So knight e6 for taking g7. That's probably a good idea. Black king is really exposed now. If the g7 black pawn is no longer there, black king is really exposed. Like really, really exposed. Okay. Let's visit the other games. And we're going to be coming back anyway. We're going to return here. Gukesh Abdustorov. Queen c7. Hey, is stuff we said. Bishop g5. Rook b8 though. I did say rook c8, rook b8. Knight e3. I did say this as well. Knight takes, bishop takes. I did say these ideas. I mentioned them. Queen to c7. And boy, oh boy. Queen to c7. Can we... I think we should just get the rook on the d file. For a starter. And maybe this, maybe that. Yeah, okay, maybe. Takes a bit long. Takes a bit too long, but no rush. Well, you've got 36 minutes. Okay, bishop f4 is a move until e5 being on the board, Tal. Bishop f4, e5, and you have to move the bishop. And then I'm going to play bishop e6, attacking your queen. You sure? Hey, queen b4. Sorry, queen b5. Yeah, queen b5 means a couple of things. But I think more importantly means this. And for this. Obviously, black's going to play the other rook, rook f8 to rook d8, right? But it's something. It's something. Because if they play a rook, I might just very well take. And then if you take with the rook, then I could do queen b6. I'm kind of winning a pawn, and I'm kind of winning the game. So queen to b wants to say I'm keeping the pressure here, but I'm also playing rook to d. I think it's good. I'm not sure about this, though. Then what do you do after bishop g4? Well, you're going to play this, right? Oops, you're going to play rook d7, right? If black allows rook d7, you're also going to double up the rooks. You're going to play the other rook, rook e to d. That's good. I think it's good for white. I guess bishop f4 now would be replied with e5. I'm not sure. Anyway, Tal, the queen b5 I did say, and that's something that they chose to do. Gukesh chose to do this. Okay, next one. Interestingly, dropping the knight back on a6 from b4. Why? Does he want to go c5 now? I don't know. That's weird. Okay, bishop b2, I understand. Knight a6? The knight was very cool where they were. Anyway. Okay, fine. Knight a6. What do you go with that knight? Like when? What do you do? Very weird. Very weird. Very weird. Very weird. Very weird. Bishop takes. Pawn takes? Really? Bishop takes c6. B takes c6. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Knight a6. What does he want to do with a knight? Why didn't he take the bishop on g2? Yeah, sometimes these guys really want to surprise each other, so they play stuff. The bishop was on a3 already, Tal. Okay, weird, very weird position. White didn't move nothing. I don't know what is white calculating. I think rook a5 is the forced move here. I'm not sure what else you could play here being white. I don't know what else you could do. I'm going to leave this green arrow already. Oh, that's okay. Let's go back to this, because what do you think white played? Well, he didn't play nothing just yet. He's still thinking. We debated amongst knight c6 and knight e6. We debated. Kind of like I love them both. I like them both, really. Knight c6, and if the rook f5, rook e7. Yash actually said that, and I think he's right. The pawn on e5 can be taken and will be captured, I guess, if you do knight c6 and things. But he went knight e6. Knight e6, which we did mention, of course. We're looking at, primarily, we're looking at g7 now on the double attack. Knight and rook. So g7 can't be defended, and rook's going to take with check, and black king is more exposed. Okay, more exposure. You can't take with the rook, because if you take with the rook, is king f6, and you're going to lose knight or rook. So you can't take rook g7, but you could definitely play knight g7. You could play knight g7 if you want. Unless you want to do something else. Like this. I'm not sure anymore. I don't know. Rook b6 or knight takes g7? Yeah, that's a good question. Would you play rook b6 or knight g7? Yeah. Daniel goes seriously in time issue here. 9 minutes, never enough. Not in this position. Yes, you do. No, they don't. Yes, they don't. They don't. As soon as they finish the time, that's it. There is no 40 move increment. No. I think I read the format and I don't remember seeing any increment after the first 40 moves. There's no increment. So I like your idea with Rook G7, King F6, Rook G4 attacking the knight. Yes, that is really cool thought. Tal, actually, yes, he came up with this very cool idea. Oh yeah, I like it. Rook G, King F, Rook G4, pressure on the knight, which is actually the defender of the rook. Ooh, that is actually something. It's a threat. Rook G7 is a threat, is a check. It's forcing black to move out of check. And Rook G4 is another threatening move. That is also an attacking threatening move. You can't just ignore it. It's actually something. Actually, it sounds like a plan to me. Rook G4, King F5. Yeah, but I'm taking your knight, and then I'm taking your knight with the rook. King takes and king takes. Do you know what I mean? And I think I ended up with a knight and king versus king. I think I'm winning. Yes. Rook G4, King F5. Rook takes C4, King takes E4, King takes F2. I think I'm up a knight. I'm up a knight. I'm kind of winning, right? I haven't, Al. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the hint. I haven't looked. So Rook G7, King F. Sorry, whoa. What? Wait a second. You know, they could go King F5, actually. Not King F6. They could go King F5. Bloody hell. Yeah, but then it's my turn. Rook G7. If and only if King F6, you've got Rook G4. King F5, Rook takes, King takes. Of course, I'm winning the game, but what if Black plays King F5 straight away? What if Black goes first, King F5 straight away? Rook G7, King F5. What stops Black from playing King to F5? Nothing. Rook G7, King F5. You've got no Rook G4 anymore. But the knight is free to go. So after all, Rook G7 does work. I think Rook G7 is a good one. I think it seemed to be working now. With both replies, King F6 and King F5. I think it's beneficial for white. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like now Rook G7. The more I look at it, the more it seems to be very engaging and very attractive idea. The only big problem for Daniel here is the time. Maybe knight c7, maybe. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I understand. All right. Hey, he went with Rook B6, which I did say amongst the candidate moves I was suggesting, guys, but Rook G7 seemed to be more aggressive. This one, yeah, it's a discovered check. I get it. Okay, I did speculate Rook B6, but I was more attracted about Rook G7 idea. Anyway, he went for Rook B6. Probably he calculated both branches and He's actually more inclined for this discover type of chess. Okay, there is actually this. Rook b6, there is actually this. I think you might be in trouble with black if you allow this to happen. So king has to move. On the other hand, now, if you move king f5, there is knight g7, you say. Check, and it's kind of cool as well. But king can go now f7. King can go h5. King can go f7. There's many squares. King can go h7. There are so many squares the black king can go. I mean, there's quite a few options. And that is time consuming. It takes away all your time. And then you're going to make mistakes or blunders because you didn't have time to calculate. Unfortunately, sadly. That's the reality of it. So the more you deepen the lines, it's a double-edged sword because then you're running out of time. Okay, rook b6 we've established it's a threat here. It's a knight c5 big threat. Okay. Nepomniachtchi 1 hour 16 minutes. That's a lot. He gonna find something. I don't know what's that. Probably moving the king, right? Or maybe moving the rook. Maybe moving the rook. I'm not sure. Yeah, but still, discover check is discover check. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Personally, I would move the black king away. I do not want to be in a discover check, and I don't want to spend half an hour thinking about if rook c2 actually might just work. So I would just move the king away from the discovered check, and but knight c5 could be done regardless, because if you move the black knight you lose the rook. So actually that's quite a few questions. So rook c2 maybe should be played anyway. No, it doesn't work. It's a disaster, rook c2, because knight d4 you're losing anyway. It's a disaster. So rook c2 does not work because knight d4 check, and then the knight takes the rook. Rook c2 doesn't work at all. I don't know what you're doing. And also rook e2 doesn't work. Could be just rook d2. Maybe just rook to d2. Can you believe that? Maybe that's the only move after all. And knight to d4, and no, but that's a disaster. Rook d2, knight c5 check, king f5 protecting the black knight. Oh man, but then g4 check, and if you take, I'm gonna win your knight. This is very complicated. Look at this one, guys. Just look at this craziness. Rook d2, knight c5 check, king f5, g4, and if you take, I'm gonna grab your knight. This is that's just something. That's just something. Now after g4, you don't really have to take, right? You could go f4, but it's so complicated. It's so complicated. What's the reply for black here? I don't know yet. I'm not very certain. Man, these are so tough games. Rook b6. After all, rook b6 poses a lot of trouble for Nepomniachtchi here. This rook b6 is a big trouble. You gotta sit down and calculate so many things. I'm not even looking at rook takes a6. I don't calculate that one. I think there's way more stronger attacks. The discovered check is the problem. The discovered check is the problem. I'm not sure what you're moving. Yes, that is true. Yeah, he's very low on time. That's the main problem here for white, is that he's low on time. Yes. Yes, he is indeed. He got some things with this. I'm not sure how he gonna sort it. I'm gonna leave the arrows on the screen. We're gonna move visiting the other games, and we're gonna come back and see if they chose something or what we indicated here. All right, let's see Gukesh and Abdu. I said some rook on the D, but he decided rook ED. And by the way, E5 had been played amongst others to just stopping any rook to go here. Okay, King H7, Queen C6, trading off now. Okay, that's gonna be a draw. Looks like a draw to me. Probably that's a draw. It starts looking like a draw now. Okay, bishop takes, because if you don't take, they're going to take. You're going to have isolated pawn here, so that's not good. Bishop takes, king takes. Bishop takes, king takes. Bishop D, rook D. Rook here, rook here, rook here, rook takes. And then king G7. Still a draw, right? Okay, exactly as I said. Bishop takes H6. Exactly as I said. Bishop H6, king takes. And now bishop D7. Now bishop D7. Bishop D7, bishop takes, rook takes. Still a draw, right? No, rook D6. Oh. Well, we're going to see this anyway. Rook D8. Rook D8. Rook takes. Rook takes. Still a draw. As long as these guys stay on dark squares, the bishops can't touch them. The bishops can't touch the opposite color pawns, obviously, so probably it's a draw with the most correct game. Still a lot of time, though. Half an hour for white, 50 minutes for black. Yeah, it's a lot of time. There is a lot of time anyway. Probably a draw, though. I would adventure and say, yeah, that's probably a draw. Queen C2 here. That's okay. Knight to D5, knight to C5. I did say knight to C5. I didn't know where they want to move the knight anyway. And it's blacks to play. Blacks to play. What do you do? There is a tension here. No, they always instructional. Yes, no, they always instructional. It's a great deal to learn from their games. No, it's very instructional, absolutely. I'm on the very firm opinion that watching Super GM games, it's incredibly beneficial. It doesn't harm. You can only enhance your understanding. I don't think it's bad at all. On the contrary. On the contrary, I think they've... Yeah, I mean, you know, everything is instructive now. Everything is instructive. Super GM's games, definitely to be watched. They're not going to harm your chess understanding. Well, if they want to go Bone Cloud, or if they want to play A3 and H3 in the opening, probably it's not the stuff you are supposed to do, but they don't do that anyway. They play Spanish, they play Berlin, they might play Italian game. I don't think that's bad at all to watching the games. They do Semi-Slav, or Queen's Gambit and things. That's not bad. They do Catalan a lot. You will see Sicilians, Magnus plays Sicilians, you know. It's very instructive. Especially because you make a constant effort to think yourself, to try to put yourself in their shoes. So I think it's really instructive, actually. On the contrary, I'd say. Yes. On the contrary. Absolutely. Yeah. Magnus plays it. All right, queen c2 being played here. What is what is Prague going to do next? If he moves the knight on f6, obviously it's going to be a big trade here with g7, and I guess Prague is very keen on maintaining that bishop on g7. I don't know for how long though. I don't know for how long. So he took it though. Knight takes. Now probably bishop takes g7 straight away. No, okay, he took this guy. Bishop now goes here for this. Double attack on e2. Ooh. That's a good question. Do you play rook or do you push? No, you can't play e4. Or can you? Can you do e4? Or can you do e3? Rook fe, e3, e4. Rook fe1. Well, you could do... Yeah, there you go, rook fe1. Rook fe1, exactly. That's good stuff. Always good stuff getting the rook on a semi-open file. More importantly here, because the e2 was under attack, so you may actually want to play e4. Okay, we'll see. Also, white wants to take the bishop on g7. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. And actually, that's not bad. It's goodish for Wesley. If that bishop disappears, he got all the dark squares. He got all the dark squares. The bishop on g2 is not that strong anymore because it hits its own pawn. But if you play e3, e4, and bishop f1, you might be just very well trading that guy. You see? That's another important stuff. So you do e3. Let's just say e3. Okay, let's just assume e3. And then you're going to play f1, and then you're going to get rid of this guy too. Of course you can. I mean, bishop on g2 doesn't do too much now, except you are concerned about the knight on c5. Jumping around and stuff. If you want to neutralize the bishop on b5, I guess you got to play e3, bishop f1, and the bishop is gone. And also you should take on g7. Bishop takes g7. You should take on g7. Get rid of that bishop. Yeah, you should take on that. You should trade that bishop on g7. Hi there, Martin. Rook fe1. Okay. You can't avoid that bishop trade on g7, can you? I mean, you could do something like bishop h6, but you gave up that diagonal, though. That's quite serious, though, because queen c3, and I think you got yourself a big problem. Yeah, you got yourself a big problem then. So if you really want to avoid bishop h6, queen c3, what do you play? How are you going to play then? That's not good. So after all, bishop has to be traded then. Yeah, you're going to give up on the dark squares, but what can you do? Do you have an option? Yeah. Yeah, you can't avoid that thing. So bishop takes b2, queen takes b2. I mean, what else? Not an easy one. Not an easy one. Anyway, white needs to relaunch. Okay, so bishop b2, exactly. Okay, so ultimately I'm actually happy because I'm indicating stuff that actually does come to fruition. Yeah. Okay, so bishop had to take, queen take, and now he goes with opening up the A. So obviously if you take now, knight's going to take, right? You don't have to take, though. You don't have to take. I wouldn't take. I would push b4, I guess. Yeah, that makes a lot of stuff. b4, I think I would push b4 to attack the knight. I wouldn't trade on a4. I wouldn't. You gotta push the pawn. or just try to do something else. But don't take on a4. So I think it's a disaster to capture on a4. You shouldn't take on a4. Ah, well, at this super high level, these guys are so strong, a draw is a victory in itself, right? So to speak. Yeah, so I wouldn't take. So I just try to explain my thought processes. I definitely would not take a4. I would either push the pawn or do something else. But yeah, and I don't want to open up the a4 black anyway. So the problem is if you ignore and play e3 or e4, they would take on b3. You take back, and actually black is enjoying then. Well, you're gonna move the queen. b4, a3, you're gonna have to move the queen, which is another debate. I mean, you could like start thinking now where you want to go. So b4, very likely I would play a3, and then I have to move the queen. Nah, I don't know where just yet. I'm not sure where for the time being. I don't know. Queen d4, queen d4, queen c2. I don't know. I also have to defend e2. But bloody he didn't. He played knight to f3, which I kind of did say they need to reroute that knight. You can't keep the knight on h4 forever. So knight f3 had been played. Okay, fair enough. Now I guess black's gonna... Oops. I guess black's gonna take. And then you're gonna have to take. And you're just giving black the almighty a file. Hmm. I'm not sure if he played the Grunfeld today. I don't know. We gotta go and check. I can't remember. Knight f3. So I guess now black should take on b3 and enjoy the a file. Yeah, there is. Yeah, okay. A, B, A, B. Okay, still black's turn to play. And I don't know. What do you play? Oh, I know that white would like to play knight d4, that's sure. And probably the bishop's going to go a6. Knight d4 seems to be natural. You attack the bishop. Knight d4, bishop has to go. Or maybe you want to play queen d. It's too powerful, that bishop, not to protect it after knight d4. That bishop is too beautiful, too aggressive to have it traded. So knight d4, bishop a6, I guess. It's too good of a bishop to trade it. Yeah, there is also e3, bishop f1, neutralizing the bishop, but you can't have them all after all. Okay, we can debate on that one. Blackstone. We'll come back to these games, guys, anyway. And that is Anish Alireza. Anish was white. And yeah, there is a pass pawn here. You got to keep this guy here for a while. We got a check coming. And then we got rook d2. Ooh. That is something, isn't it? Rook d8 had been played with the purpose of rook d, king h2, rook d2, attacking f2 and bishop. You move the bishop. I'm going to push this guy one more time. And I think there is something there. You got to calculate that one very accurately because you're going to get in trouble. Well, I got to answer that guy. Well, I'm going to check later. Streaming now. I'll check later. We'll check. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Streaming now. I'll check for sure. Thanks for asking. Okay. Okay. So, white has to be careful. What a truism. Okay, for the material is the same, but it's very tactical. Very dangerous. Why to play? Okay, plenty of time. Let's say 40 minutes. That's plenty of time. So they do have the time to checking things. Okay, we'll answer this guy a bit later. Rook d8. So rook d8 had been played. Okay, so going back to the intent, obviously rook d1, king h2, rook d2. Makes a lot of sense. A lot. Because there is a pass pawn on a3. Actually, this is the danger. White has to be careful about the a3 pass pawn, because if he checks and king moves and checks, I mean, he takes as well the bishop, right? Guys, I think he takes the bishop anyway as a compensation. The problem would be the a3 black pawn. And you're playing Ali Reza, so hey guys, let's have the last 30 seconds. Let's keep our eyes on this one for the last 30 seconds, because that's all the time available for Daniel here. So that's quite critical here it's critical for this guy. Only 30 seconds. Oh my god. 10 seconds, even less. I can't watch it. It's too much. E4. This is so frustrating what these guys do not have time, and they used all the time there and they got into this, and it's a bit of a shame, because within a couple of seconds you're going to mess up. Invariably, you're not going to see many things. That's very unfortunate. Black to play. Nepomniachtchi has 1 hour and 5 minutes. He can do whatever the heck he wants, He got so much available time on his hands. I mean, they get 30 seconds increment, Yash. The format, I think it is, you get 30 seconds increment. You don't get half an hour after the 40th move, but you do get the 30 seconds increment. So whatever you do, you got those saving the ultimate buffer. You got your 30 seconds. And you got to do something within those 30 seconds or you just cooked. And that was it. Okay. Knight f3. Knight f3 because this and because this and because looks like a checkmate, ladies and gents. Oh yeah. Actually, he can go have a kebab and then come back. He's not gonna take a nap. He's gonna eat a kebab, come back, and then stuff. I'm not sure they're gonna be writing the move or something. Yeah, sure, of course, yeah. I mean, when you got like a few seconds, probably you don't even bother writing down, right? You're gonna ask the... No, it's recorded anyway. I don't think you're gonna be writing. Anyway, theoretically, this and this would be the end of, right? But there is also this, so Daniel tries to open up the G for the rook to attack the black queen. So no longer rook takes G. King takes G3. Rook F2 checkmate, because it's a checkmate practically. If you were to allow King G3, Rook F2, that would be just checkmate. So yeah, I it's just too critical. I'm a bit, I'm sympathetic towards Daniel because he has to play so fast things, and he may not be the best reply. Exactly, Marlon. That's that. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I tried to say. It's that knight is hanging. Hello there, Marion. Yeah. So after king takes g3, the white knight is in a position to move again. But rook g6 stops the checkmate, so to speak. I guess you can't get checkmated, right? Well, of course. So that's what it is. He played knight f4. Not too many seconds on the clock. Maybe he panicked. Maybe, I don't know. Was there something else to do anyway? Knight f4. And yeah, Nepomniachtchi can play with the poor guy's nerves. He got 1 hour, 2 minutes. He could do whatever you want. He could take on g3. Probably he decided to take on g3 already, right? He decided to take. He could wait for half an hour, letting the other guy completely getting toast. Tough for Daniel here. Really tough. All right. Let's go back to Gukesh Abdustorov. That one probably a draw, right? This one is probably a draw. You can't make any progress here. Dark square, dark square, dark square. You can't attack with the bishops. Dark square, and you can't touch those guys. King's gonna move, and you're gonna have to move the rook back, probably on d2. And probably gonna be a draw. After king e7, rook. Well, you could go c6 if you want to. You could go c6, I guess. Well, probably a draw with the most correct game. Probably a draw. Probably a draw. This one. Yeah. AB, okay. Knight e4, fine. E3, I did say e3. The idea would be just play this and neutralize the bishop on b5, which is very active. And Prague's done. What else can Prague play here? I don't know. Can Prague go for queen f6? Queen takes, knight takes. Maybe black can attempt to take the b3 pawn, which kind of matters. But there is also this. If you trade off the queens, there is c7, could be is attackable, definitely attackable. It's quite a few question marks here. I'm not sure about queen f6. I'm not sure about queen f6. I don't know if queen f6 is the move. But what I do know is that if white wants to get rid of the bishop on b5, there is always bishop f1, and this guy probably will be traded. I'm not sure you want to play bishop d7, do you? But I don't know. c5 would allow an en passant, creating a passed pawn on d6. If you do c5, I think white would be great for Lemurian because d takes c6. You're going to take back, I don't know, bishop or pawn. The problem would be from a connected pawn island that you're having here, you would be all of a sudden with the backward pawn on d6. So c5 allows white to create a pass. I mean, you are going to create yourself a backward pawn. Isolated, mind you. Well, if you take with the pawn, c5, en passant, pawn takes. Okay. Definitely better than with the bishop, right? Okay. c5, en passant, bc6. Okay, I guess that's doable. I guess that's doable, but at the same time, this guy might be a little bit happy. Can I put it in these terms? c5 takes, en passant takes. I guess you kind of can. c5. Okay, I guess you can. I think you should give it like a couple of more minutes, and if you're really happy, go with c5. What else is here? Queen d7, queen f6. I'm not convinced. Yeah, maybe c5. Bishop d7. which I did say, but I wasn't very optimistic or very attracted by this idea. Bishop d7, can you believe that? I did say bishop d7, but giving up all this diagonal for bishop d7 now? If you guys tell me what's the point of bishop d7, I'm gladly listening. Please feel free to decipher the bishop d7 idea. Bishop d7, like what exactly you want to do? What exactly you want to do? With bishop d7, it's not clear. Yeah, but h3 is already defended twice. And white doesn't need to do nothing in particular. Ah, knight g5. Okay, knight g5, I'll take it. Then you take. Okay. And then I'll play c, go for the c pawn. Really? Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Marlon. I'm not belittling, I'm not disparaging the plan. Maybe. So you're talking about knight g5 for black. White knight takes, queen takes g5. Okay, maybe. Rook c, attack is c7. Okay, I guess black has a plan for this. How are you going to defend c7? You're going to move the queen back? I don't know. It's a plan, but pressures the position. You need more power, though. Okay. It's a good point. I think it's an interesting idea, what you're saying. Kind of makes sense. But I think if white goes on the c7 weakness with the rook after queen takes on g5 the knights, which had been traded, I guess. Okay, that's a good point. Thanks for your idea. That's a good one. I like it. Cool. Let's see what Wesley decides, though. Can Wesley just play rook c1 just in any case to try to demote white from doing what we said? Could be rook d1, rook c1 just to stop any knight g5 idea. It could be. Mind you, though, rook d1 doesn't do nothing. I mean, you're kind of like hitting your own guy, right? So there's no point to be on d anyway. So maybe rook c or rook a. Rook c would be something, though. Okay. I guess rook c1 would definitely discourage black from the plan we said. Well, we'll come back. We'll come back to this. Good point, though, Marlon. Good point. Hey, I did say this bloody thing. I did say this. I did say rook d. I did say king h2, and I did say rook d2. And I just don't like it for white because I don't like it for white because of the a3 pass pawn. It's just too... It's getting too emotional now. Rook d2. It's not just that the bishop that you could theoretically take back. The problem is this pawn. You got a problem with that guy. I'm not sure how you're doing. I'm not sure how you're playing. Okay, let's say rook takes. Let's just say rook takes. Rook takes. Rook plays here. And rook takes here. Okay, so yeah, bishop to b. What if I just push the pawn? Or play this guy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, if you play bishop a6, they're going to do rook a7, right? So they're going to be attacking your bishop and the pawn. Okay. Okay, what does black play now? If you push, bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes. I'm not sure anymore. No, you don't want to push a now. You don't want to push a now. You have to play the bishop or something. I'm not sure where, how, what do you do? Could be rook b2 though. Asking for a friend. It could be rook b2. No, he can't because this guy takes. Yeah, but you go. Oh, yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Marlon. Rook b2. It's what I thought. Yeah, rook b2 is what I'm thinking. Rook b2, I think I like it for black. Rook b2. Rook b2, I like it. Rook takes b7, and then you push a2. Because if bishop takes, I'm going to take your rook, and I think I'm kind of winning. Oh no, a2. Rook b2 is the key for white to win, I guess, by the looks of it. It's absolute. Oh, did they say it's brilliant? Because I didn't put the engine. I don't know what the engine thinks. It's only my only mind. And your minds. That's it. The only resource I'm using during the stream. Rook b2 was very appealing to me. a2 not that appealing anymore because just simply didn't. Nothing happens now for black. I mean, white takes, rook takes, white rook takes, and that was kind of it. They're probably going to go towards a draw now. Rook b2 was really the stuff to do. I'm surprised Anish didn't go for that one. Yeah, rook b2 was my favorite as well. Sorry, he didn't go for. Yeah, so now we're going to see a draw probably, guys. That's been predicted already. Bishop takes a2 now. Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes f2, and I don't know, this guy goes here, and then you go here to defend the pawn, and yeah. Okay, very predictable now. Very, very, very predictable now. This guy takes, you take here. They go here, you could go for the other pawn. They take this, and I think it's just a draw. Okay. Sorry, guys, I think this is a draw. I think this is a draw. Yeah, this is a draw, guys. Anish Giri Ali Reza, that's a draw. That's a draw. Okay. Interestingly, because if rook e, now king gonna play f3. So you have to move this guy. You're gonna go here, they're gonna be attacking you like this. And then you have to move. True. Still a draw, though. It feels like a draw. Okay. Let's go with this. The last one, the very critical stuff. Knight f4 being played, and Ian didn't move absolutely nothing. I think he's playing with the other guy's nerves because king takes g3 probably is the move, and knight is hanging. Let's put it this way. Knight is hanging. And yeah. Or for the last 47 seconds, maybe he wants to play something very unexpected to making Daniel thinking too much, maybe. He wants to play something incredibly surprising. I don't know what that is. Knight d2. I mean, I don't know what that is. Yeah, but then they're going to go here. That's not a great deal. No, that doesn't work. Knight d2. No, I think still king g3, right? Yeah, still king g3. Yeah, you have to play rook g6 immediately, and then you're losing the knight. And absolutely, rook f2 is just checkmate. Yeah. If you allow black now to play two moves, you would have king g3 and rook f2, and that would be just checkmate. That's just checkmate. But look, Ian played knight g2. Sorry, what? No, man, he played e3. He didn't even bother. He played e3. And now, oh my god. Knight g2 immediately played by Daniel. I don't know, man. I think they just push this guy, you take, and then they take, right? So they push, you take, and rook g2 check, and I don't know. There's still some happening here. Yeah, rook h1, that's another idea. I guess rook h1, king has to move. You can't go rook e1 though because there is the white knight there. But king g3 still playable afterwards. Quite difficult. Hmm. Mm. Black has to be very careful about this stuff because if he screws up too much, we've got actually to pass pawns on A and B. Actually, this is serious. So if you don't convert whatever advantage you might have, you might even lose the game. E2, king takes, rook takes, check. King's got to move, and then I'm going to take G3 with the what? Because if I'm not careful, white's going to take H6 with the white rook. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what this is yet. Um, it doesn't quite look like a draw. If maybe for the engine is a draw. I don't know if this is a draw for humans. I don't know. It's very complicated, really. It seems to be very complicated. Okay, rook h1, king e2. So what do you do then? What's the follow-up? Because I'm attacking the e3 pawn as well. Well, the knight... Okay. Yeah. Okay, king g3. I think we're going to see this one now. Rook g6 immediately. If you don't do rook g6, that's a big problem, right? Rook g6, there you go. You can't allow that. Rook g6. Oh my god. Knight g5. Knight to g5. Rook takes. Check, though. Oh, come on. No, rook can't take. You're going to lose if you take. You're going to lose if you take. Wait, wait, wait. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. You can't take the knight. You can't sack an exchange here. But this is so serious. Okay, so he blocked with the black knight. What do you actually play? What does white do? You move the knight, but where? Do you take the pawn? I think you could take the pawn. Knight takes c3. There you go. You take the pawn. And black can play maybe king move, or you're going to start taking these guys. Yeah, knight e3. That's exactly what I've recommended myself as well. That's what I would have played. King to f3. Okay, attacking the white knight. Moving away from the pin, by the way, so the black knight is free to go. Black knight's free to go now. So white knight attacked, and guys, more importantly, it's a checkmate in a move. It's a checkmate, and I'm attacking your knight. I think white is done. It's a checkmate threat. That's the most important stuff. It's a checkmate threat, and with a bonus, I'm attacking the knight. I don't know what you're doing. Probably resign. Yeah, we've got a checkmate threat. Rook h1 and knight's being hit. You move the king, I'll take your knight. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, king g1, right? Wow. King g1. Rook has to play, right? Rook has to play. Ooh, okay. My god, this is so difficult. Rook takes b2, rook takes h6, and then maybe draw? Maybe a draw after all, but so difficult. King g1, rook has to go, and then the other, yeah, rook b2, exactly right. Exactly right. Rook b2, and now rook's going to take h6. And in the minute the white pawn is being taken, the guy is going to be shaking hands and go for a draw. That's what it is. That's a draw. That's it. A rook h6 is definitely possible. Knight is hanging. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Spot on. Knight is hanging. Okay, nice. I don't know. Knight c4. I don't know. Knight what? Sorry, guys. Is it rook b just winning? Is it rook b1 pinning the knight? Or he thinks about this? Oh, okay. Look, this is weird, man. Rook b1 pins the knight absolutely to the king. Are you going to play rook d6 with white? After rook b1, you're going to move rook d6. This is incredibly weird. I guess you're going to do this, but have you calculated knight e4 attack? Okay, you're going to go on, well, on d8, right? Very weird anyway, but okay. All right, fine. Okay, fine. It's incredibly weird to put the knight on the back rank in an absolute pin. Rook b1, rook d6, knight e4, rook d8. And the game continues. They just keep playing. They will keep playing for a while. Rook b1, rook d6, knight e4, rook d8. Then maybe this guy coming down. Maybe the other guy goes up. Still some happening here. It's not done. It's not finished. That's a shame that Daniel has only 30 seconds. That's a shame. Rook b1. Rook b1, rook d6, king e2. Yeah, king e2, rook h6. Oh man. Yeah, that's quite a few ideas. Rook b1, rook d6, knight e4, rook d4, knight c3. Yes, knight c3. Knight c3. Oh my god. Yes, exactly as I said, rook b1. That's exactly, I think he miscalculated due to time pressure. Because after knight c3, as Marlon just said, I'm not sure what you're doing. Okay, rook d, we had anticipated this, but there is this and there is that as well. There's this and there is that. There's knight e4, rook d8, knight c3, and pray you tell me what do you play? What exactly are you doing? I guess you could do some checks. That doesn't bloody work. No, I think knight d1 was a very unfortunate stuff to do, but I'm not sure what you're playing following knight e4, knight c3. I don't know. I don't know what you do. Probably resign. Oh man, knight e4. Knight e4. He didn't even bother. He played rook a1. Huh. Don't tell me white's gonna push the pawn now, a5 to a6. Rather than this. One of these two. Sorry, it's white's turn, right? Right. Or you're going to, what, moving the king? Well, you do a6 or king h2. He did a6. I said a6, of course. And now back to black. This and that. Knight e4, rook has to move. And knight c3, pressure on the pin piece. Nope. Nope. He goes with the pawn. Goes at h5. Yeah, just a few seconds, 30 seconds for Daniel. Just a few seconds. What is he going to play? He's going to play rook d. Rook d5, attacking the knight. And the pawn. I'm not sure. Is he going to move the king? Well, with the 4 seconds on the clock, pardon me, man, but there's just too much. Yeah, he played rook d5. I did say rook d5. I did say rook d5. I'm not sure what's knight h3 going to do. Well, the guy moves out of check, though. And attacking the knight. Okay. There's just a lot of things to process again. Rook d5, I did indicate. What is black gonna do? Knight h3, king a2, knight f4. I don't know. Maybe knight h3, king h2, knight f4, attacking the rook, defending h5, and maybe some other checks coming over to the second rank. Difficult. Difficult. There is an idea about knight h3. Good stuff for Ian is that he got plenty of time. 45 minutes for black here. Knight h3. Do you guys like knight h3? Knight h3, knight f4. Maybe. This is the game that was supposed to be a draw, right? Bishop b5, and probably this is the game of the draw. Okay, let's move on. h4, definitely interesting. Queen e7, was that Wesley Prague? You can't take this guy because you're gonna get yourself pinned, right? Or maybe with the other rook. No, the other rook. So you can't take because this, right? And it's a problem. And probably that's that's a thing. You can't take on c6. Well, but actually, you attack the queen. Actually, you attack the queen. If knight c6, you actually attack the black queen. You say knight c6, bishop takes, queen takes. Okay, I guess you kind of can. Knight c6 attacks queen. Yeah. Okay, knight c6. We'll see about that. Here, rook c7 goes for this guy. Anishgiri Alireza. Whose turn is it? Black to play. I don't know. You could do this. You could do that. Well, if you do this, you're gonna drop this guy. So you can't move the king away. But you could definitely play rook e6. You could play rook e6 if you want. Rook e6, king f3. Okay, this guy's gonna draw, right? Or is the white king a bit more active than the black king? So white might be an advantage. King f3, king e3. Then maybe some g4. I think they're gonna keep playing for a while. Blacks to move. What do you move? You have to stay along the 6th rank, because if you don't stay along the 6th rank, white's gonna take your c6 pawn. So black rook has to stay on e6 or d6 by the looks of it. You gotta be e6 or d6. You can't move the king because h7 is hanging. So you're gonna have to stay e6, d6. And if you go e6, d6, white can play f3, e3. Okay, that's cool. And boy, oh boy, king f1. What did they do? He played king f4, not knight h3, knight h4. King g2 out of the pin. Rook checks. King f1. King f1 in that game, because after rook a1, you might be able to do king e2. Whew. Black to play. Of course, there is a chance for Yan to play a blunder like king e4 for this. There is a chance for Yan to play a blunder. But he's not going to do it, do you? Yeah, he's going to push h4, of course. Of course, h4 coming down the board. I'm not sure. Is definitely h4 is a question mark here. It's like a pawn race. What is it? Okay. Wait a second. Okay, wait a minute. Right, where were we? Oh boy. Okay. Where were we? Okay, let me just do this one. Many headaches. That's a check on the back ranking. Has to move or you block. Do you block with the rook? But if you block with the rook, the pawn on a6 is hanging. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Check. Rook d1. We did say this, but there's a break. There's a thing here. You take the pawn, and then you go behind the other pawn, trying to push it, or stuff like this. You can't take, because if you take, you're losing. You won't be able to stop this guy from promoting. So it's not a matter of taking the rook, but definitely a matter of taking on a6. Yeah, there you go. Rook takes a6, of course. Now white has a problem with this guy. If you manage to take the black pawn, then it's a draw, right? So if he takes the pawn on h4, then that's about it. You can't push it now because knight takes. But definitely black can go behind the pawn and supporting its advancement. Rook h6. But then still, even if you push and they take and you take, that's still a theoretical draw, right? I'm not sure how you're going to convert that pawn. Well, because Yan has 44 minutes, he could just mess around a bit. Maybe white's going to blunder, you know? You got 44 minutes, your opponent 48 seconds. Okay, so let me just convey the message. All right, back where we were. Okay. So how is black going to convert the advantage and the pass pawn on the h is actually the question. Is the question. Well, I'm sure Daniel would be so happy now for a draw here because you can't do anything else in this position than to hope for a draw. Let's go to another draw, right? This should be a draw, right? 426, 336, nice pawn island. It's not a big problem. The black rook defends, holds everything. Maybe white rook a bit more active, but what exactly are you going to go for? There's no big weakness. This one, ladies and gents, looks like another draw. This one should be a draw. I would propose a draw. I would accept a draw in this game. I don't see what you could possibly do here. I don't know what you can do here. You can't do nothing more than just a draw. Whose turn is it? White's turn. What can Gukesh do here? Is there something you want to do? The only weaknesses identifiable would be B6 and F7. Now, you can't go for those guys. It's a complete waste of time. This is a draw. Forget about it. And black, of course, just needs to do nothing. Black needs to do nothing here. We'll see about this one. I think it's a draw. This one, Wesley Pragnananda. Now that's more interesting. Probably is the most interesting game of today's round, I guess. It's the most problematic, the most tactical. It's an isolated guy on B3. If that means anything long term, if that means anything in terms of being attackable by black with a couple of pieces, maybe this is the thing. But there is some other subtlety here. The subtlety being if this guy goes forwards, you kind of like attack the knight. Knight's got to go. Then maybe you could take on C6 because you got two attackers on C6. Maybe. Maybe. The bishop also is not incredibly happy. You got to do something with this bishop. Probably bishop F1. You have to do something with that bishop. You can't keep the bishop on G2 because there's nothing happening. So bishop F1 probably. Maybe. I don't know. Bishop G2 momentarily defends against the possible rooks that might be coming on the second rank. Absolutely rook B8. Didn't I say rook B8? Because the weakness, ladies and gents, is this. And black goes for the weakness. This is the weakness. B3. That's not to say there ain't no resources. You could do rook b1 and stuff if you're really concerned. But they can get more power as well. Rook a3 and stuff. You know, it's not quite over. Ooh, f4. After all, he won't be doing bishop f1. He keeps the bishop here. And he dreams about pushing some e5. Opening up the e file and also threatening. Oh, look at this diagonal. Especially with the knight c6. e5, knight c6. Big threat here. e5, you can't even take because knight is hanging. Now that's something. That is something. f4. Wonderful. Rook b4. Is it because rook b? I mean, rook a8, b8, of course, makes sense. Rook a b8 going for triple attack on b3 and things. But still, this one is something. If white plays it now, would you guys do e5? Yash, Marian, you guys, would you do e5 here? e5 is something. I'm threatening this. There is a threat on c6. If you don't do e5, I don't know what you're doing. e5, there's definitely something there. It's got to be something with e5. That's the reason he played f4. He played f4 exactly, particularly for e5. So I like it. That's a very good idea. Very attacking. Very good idea. This one should be the draw, right? What's this? That's the draw, right? That's a draw, right? That's a draw. So I'm attacking this guy. You got to go here. I'm going to go here, and that's a draw, right? Then you're going to go, what? Okay, check. Fine. But this guy's still under attack. So what do you do? Because rook's going to take regardless. Yeah, okay, king f8. Hello there, Mohammed. Thanks for joining the stream here. Yeah, so this one looks like a draw. I guess you're talking about the position here with the Wesley and stuff. E5, D5. Yep, interesting. D5, the knight defended by the queen. That's a cool one. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm going to push E6 if you play D5 because I want to open up the E file, Mohammed. So E5, D5, E6. It's definitely something here. It's got to be something. E5, E6. It must be something. I'm not sure. Maybe Rook C. It's actually quite complicated. Actually quite complicated. Hey Marlon, just read your message, brother. Let me go quickly now. You made me curious. You're not making any progress here. This is a draw, right? That's a draw, right? King F8. Check. I'm going here. You're going. I'm going to keep checking you. I have to keep checking you, right? With white. Yeah, that's a draw. Yeah, that's a draw. Probably he had better ideas, of course. Yeah. He probably had some better ideas. But currently now I think white they already drew. Apologies. Yeah, they already drew. Sorry, I thought the game is still live, still going on, but that's already adjudicated. Now that's a little bit instructive here. I'm looking at, but that's another draw, right? If you give a knight for a pawn, rook and knight versus rook, it's a theoretical draw on things. It's a discovered check coming. There's a discovered check. Can you grab anything? That's a check first. Black checks first. You're in check. You have to move. There is a big danger here for white. White's gonna blunder because of the time pressure. And you have to be very careful about all the possible forks that might ensue. So now you're in check. Now you gotta move. Okay. You gotta be careful about all those little forks that might happen. Okay, there might be another check, but then they move here. Attacking. Then you have another check here. And happy days. The game just simply kind of like continues, right? But it's not easy at all. It's so many things taking place. Yeah, rook b3, as I've indicated. Now king's gonna have to move, right? Like king d4, king d. So no, not king d. No, king d4, right? Oops, hold on a sec. He didn't do that. It's a mouse slip. Wait a minute. King e2. Oh man, might have been something incredibly bad about king d4. King e2. King b2 again. There's a discovered check anyway here. I don't know what black plays here. Rook b2. Rook b2, they're going to move back, king d3. Well, you know something? He's got 42 minutes. He's going to come up with something. He got plenty of time. More problematic is for Daniel, who got less than a minute. Nepomuchet should find something. If he wants to continue differently, I don't know. Yeah, he got more than enough time. Let's go for this. Hey, that's a pawn majority here. And you know how the rule says you've got a pawn majority, you need to strive to create a passed pawn. Black to play. The pawn majority being here. I guess at some point white would like to pushing this a pawn. Takes and takes. Yeah, but then is this. So I guess you firstly have to play rook a7 and then hello Simpson. That's all right. We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay here for to watching together the ending of this game. So rook a7 first, and then you're gonna push a5. And if this guy takes, then you're gonna take. And okay, you got yourself a pass pawn, and you keep an eye on this guy as well. Probably the engine would say it's a draw at the end of the day, but these guys have opposition. But that would be a pass pawn here on a. Rook a7. Anyway, black's turn to move, so I don't know what you're doing with black. With black, you have to look after the b6 as well, because if you go, say, here, actually you can. Actually, you can. You could play rook d4. Yeah, but this guy checks here with tempo. And if you move, he's actually going to be creating two pass pawns. I think you're dead if you do rook d4. You might need to play king d5. But if you play king d5, you're losing f7. This is serious. You make a move like this, you're dropping f7, you move rook, you're going to lose. King f6 after all. Oh my god. He creates... Oh my god. You don't have to take. You have to push forward. You don't have to take this guy, because if you take... How I understand this is this. If you take, or rook's going to play this, black rook's going to play b6. And that's just the perfect stopper. You're not going to go through, I guess. But white now, I think Gukesh is going to push forward a5. Oops. Apologies. Go back. I guess white is supposed to play a5, right, guys? I guess you're supposed to do a5. And you've got a pass pawn. And you could potentially... Oh my god, he took. He took the pawn. Okay. Well, now rook b6. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. b6. Okay. This guy goes here. Attack. I'm taking. But that's not going to be this way. He's not going to play king d6. He's not going to do that. If you play this rook takes anyway. You go here, and then the king goes, I don't know. Oh, but maybe he plays this one first. And then attacks you like this. Okay, he pushed the pawn. Right. He pushed a b6 now. Well, rook's going to take. He's going to play rook b4. Rook d4, b4. That's the only chance you got. You have to. Rook takes b4. No if, no but. You have to. I don't think there's anything else here for black. Abdul Satorov with 22 minutes. And yeah, rook b4, exactly. Rook b4, exactly right. And b7, exactly right. Now, obviously, you're not going to play king d6 now, because this guy's going to take f7. So you either push the pawn. I don't know what that, f6 or f5. I don't know yet. I have to think. Oh, no, there is no thing else. You have to push the f pawn now. Maybe f5. Maybe f5, and then in order to play king d6. It could be. But, okay, still complicated. Oh my god, there is another thing as well. You can't do this because this. And if you take here, there's a queen. Oh god. It's just a little tactic right at the very end. So yeah, you can't do this because this. F6, not F5, F6. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. What is white gonna do? Probably king e3. Very, very difficult. King e3, king e3. I mean, what else do you do, really? With white? Well, you could go rook g7. You know, maybe you could take g6 or something. Maybe then you're gonna draw afterwards. Okay, two main ideas here. I think king e3, which just waits, because black might do this, or you play rook g7. So two big candidate moves here, king e3, rook g7. That's it. I don't know what else you do with white. They're probably the only moves. Well, you could play king f3 or king f1, it doesn't matter, right? And Prague with this with Wesley. That's a check. This game probably won't be a draw. That is a check here. That's not going to be a draw. This guy is hanging. 4. This pawn will be lost. Rook, Blackstone. Yeah, okay, Blackstone. You could play g7. Rook takes, rook takes. Yeah, but this guy's going to be taken. Bishop takes or something. Or rook. Bishop or rook. Either way, rook. Rook b2 is a blunder, Marlon. Oh boy, might have been, maybe he was, b2 a blunder. Okay, exactly as I said here, he sacked a knight for the pawn, exactly as I said, because it's a theoretical draw, right? It's a theoretical draw now. You don't win this. You don't win this. He probably keeps playing because the other guy could potentially blunder. This is a draw, right? Yeah, that's a draw. This is a dead draw. 0.0, exactly as I said. Exactly as I said. So this one should be very much a draw. People wasting time, but Nepomniachtchi doesn't wanna let go because he got 40 minutes, and he hopes that Daniel will blunder something. But this is a draw. You can't make any progress here. Oopsie, you can't make any progress here. Okay, I don't want to watch this because there's nothing. It's one guy getting more tired than the other. I mean, there's nothing here. I mean, we wasting our time watching Nepomniachtchi trying to get the other guy to blunder. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Wesley Prague definitely to be watched, and this one also to be watched. So yeah, we're gonna focus. We're gonna narrow down to these two games. Yeah. Okay. What did happen here? Okay, f6, king d3, fine, g5, okay. White to play now. If you take here, black's going to take, black's going to create a pass pawn. Again, it's a pawn majority. It's a pawn majority. On the other hand, if you don't take, they're going to take, you take, and then they're going to take here, but then they push this guy. So that's way more instructive, yeah. So we should be focusing on this one. I think it's going to be a draw in Nepomniachtchi and Daniel. It's going to be a draw, that one. You can't win. If Daniel keeps his nerves and does normal chess, he's going to draw. Which is great. Drawing against Nepomniachtchi, it's absolutely great. I'm not sure what white should do here. Should you do rook h7? Takes and takes. Should you do rook h7? Really? What would you do? Rook h7. Maybe rook h7 after all. I don't like taking. Well, you take, they take. Can you play rook h7 afterwards, though? Oh, that's another question. H takes g, f takes g, rook h7. Well, that's not that bad. Probably another draw. Probably another draw. I guess you could do it both ways. I guess you could play it both ways. Okay. Hg, fg, rook h7, or rook h7 straight away. And this guy takes and you take. But maybe it's important to take on g5 first. I think you want to take first. Also, you're isolating the e5. So h takes g5, fg, rook h7. I think it's good. And then, okay, the guy can still push. You take with the pawn. He takes with the pawn. You take with the rook. Rook's not going to take because you're going to promote. But you're going to take your other pawn. Okay, probably a draw. Yeah. Okay, hg, fg, rook h7. I think that's the way. That's the way for white to respond to this g5 move. Yeah, that's the way. This one is the most exciting game, the most tactical, the most engaging. So check, rook takes, we said, queen c8, king g7. Okay, now I guess they're going to take this. If you take with the bishop, it could be a check here, though. And then you're going to have to put the bishop back. That's for sure. You could also take with the rook. You could. And then play rook here. Maybe. Maybe. You keep the bishop where they are to shield the king and take the d5 for the rook. You might be able to do that after all. Yeah, there you go. He took with the rook. Rook takes d5. I did say that. And now black can play a pin. I think white should be winning. I think this is a position in which Wesley should be winning at some point. Do you know why? Imagine the rooks disappear. Imagine the rooks will be traded. I don't know in what future. One. Secondly, you might be able to get a bishop here. Take this knight. If they take with the queen, you take with the queen, they take with the pawn. And because of the bad pawn structure, those guys for being connected, it's better than isolated pawn and two pawns here and king. So you've got pawn majority and better pawn structure. So I guess white should be winning down the road. If everything disappears, moreover, if black is having an isolated pawn on e6, which probably black's going to try to avoid, but let's see. And if you move the knight, there is also rook and queen, some checks here happening. I guess white is a little bit better here, right? Am I correct? I'm going to ask the engine because I want to know. I think white is doing a bit better here. It's not over. There is some counter game. There is still some happening. It's not that done, finished yet. But I guess white should be a bit better. No, you can't do this. You got to be very careful about this idea. I mean, ideally getting the queen here, but, you know. How do you get the queen to f6? You want to get the queen to f6, but how? You know, queen f6, it's great. It's really great. Easier said than done, though. Okay, I think it is a bit of advantageous for white here. The engine says not that much of an advantage for white. Pretty much equal. Rook d5 was minus... What? Minus 5? Rook d5 was minus 5. That's a shocking revelation. Rook d5 is minus 5? After Wesley took with the rook is minus 5 now? Is it because of this pin or something? Or is there any tactic, crazy stuff? Oh my God. Queen a7. Jesus Christ. Queen a7? Because of this kind of... Is there something to do with the pin? Queen c4. Queen e... no, Queen a7, Queen e3. Oh, g3. G3. Okay, I got it now. Obviously. So the whole idea was revolving around the g3 weakness, ladies and gents. That's absolutely sick. Rook d5, actually. Queen e7, Queen e3, we're talking about g3. We're talking about the g3 weakness which you cannot defend. Rook d5, which I did say rook d5 because I'm just a human and I don't matter. Apparently Wesley Saw missed it, and apparently Prague had missed it as well. There you go. Humans do not have that sixth sense. And I mean, yeah, Queen a7 for Queen e3 and g3. Crazy. It's just crazy. Oh my God. Okay, I've got the whole thing now. I understand. Look, Prague went for the idea I had suggested, a very human-like idea. You want to go for the pinned bishop. It's a pinned bishop, He tries to add some pressure on that guy. I mean, that's how human think. And I think Wesley understood about the weaknesses about the g3. And he dropped the rook now. I think he kind of understood the g3 potential to become a massive weakness. That's how the engine executes you, It's one little, tiny little thing and everything collapses from all directions, Mohammed. That g3 was the killing point, was the big weakness there. Completely shocking for me. Spectacular. I mean, absolutely. I didn't get the Queen a7, but after the engine revealed Queen e3, I understood what was the thing. I understood that g3 was actually the big weakness and the reason for which -5 given as evaluation. Yes, it's a cold-blood killer which doesn't have even autonomy. There is no ego with the machines. It's just a continuous objective evaluation, identifying the weakness. Wesley didn't see it. Well, I didn't see it because I just don't even matter. I didn't see it. Wesley didn't see it. Prague didn't see it either. All right, so that's how human mind works. It kind of, it wasn't impossible to identify. It's just, it's not how human mind works, It's just crazy. Who knows? Maybe Magnus would have seen it. Maybe MVL would have seen it. I don't know. They didn't see it, though. Neither Wesley nor Prague. Prague would have punished him straight away. He didn't see it. Not on this occasion. He's going to be pissed off after the game. If he loses or if he draws, when he sees the -5, he would be upset. Rook e3. Okay, now he wants to take the pressure off the g3 with this kind of stuff. Takes and takes. White can't lose here. White at least draws, if not wins. 3 draws. Let me tell you something, my friends. This one should be a draw. Ian should just bloody call it a day. Okay, he hopes that Daniel gonna make a blunder. That can't be win. He messes around. That can't win. But yeah, this is a draw. Okay. He probably gonna play until the very, very, very last second. Rook e3. So I think we will have at least 4 draws. If nothing happens in this game, I mean, it could be 5 draws or only 4, and someone's going to win here, like White. Again, if rooks and queens disappear, if white manages to trade this guy and give isolated pawn to black, I think the pawn structure is favorable to white. You should be able to try to force and win, you know. Queens have to disappear, rooks have to disappear, so that you're no longer in a pin, and the bishop is a long-range piece here attacking, a bit more positive than the knight. And if you can, I don't know when, how. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Look at Prague. You take, queen takes check, rook e2, knight takes. Still the g3 idea. That was very crafty stuff. That was very crafty stuff. What do you do, queen? Well, you have to move the queen. You just have to move the queen and queen e3 to keep an eye on g3, keep an eye on this guy. No, he goes queen f1 for this. He attacks the knight and he wants to do queen f1. This is complicated, unexpected, very psychological. He dropped a bloody pawn. I'm not sure if you're supposed to take that guy or not. Queen f6. Check. And I guess, yeah, queen f6 check. And white also. No, there's nothing. I mean, black. Okay, that's check. Gonna be a perpetual. They're gonna be a draw. We're gonna have 5 draws today, ladies and gents. 5 draws. White's gonna repeat this one. The only thing White's gonna do is just check and check and check. That's a draw, ladies and gents. Perpetual check. That's what it is. You can't do king h6 because queen h4, and it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. Yeah, that's a draw. That's about it. Unless you want to play king g8, and after queen d8, you want to play queen f8. You want to play it in this fashion? I don't know. I mean, like this, and after this, this. If black wants to forcing things here. If black is happy with the draw, just keep doing this. King f8, king g7, king f8, king g7. And that's just a draw. I guess Wesley gonna go with the draw. He's okay with that. Okay, the pawn structure had been modified. It's no longer that appealing. Probably white is happy for a draw now. I don't know what Prague wants though. I think I would just draw here with either white or black. That might be the day in which all 5 games end up in a draw. Might be very well. Might be very well. I would do a draw here, I think. Yeah, just try to play tomorrow a better game. Yeah, they drew. So, guys, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 draws. And this one, blimey, this is a draw, okay? This one has been a draw for like the last 20 moves. It's a draw. But Ian is not keen to go have the kebab or the sandwich. He wants to put Daniel in a bad spot. It's just he messes with the guy's mind here now. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing nothing here. I mean, okay. You move up and down, left, right, and okay, he's really messing around. Okay, there's nothing to be seen here. Sorry, guys. This is a draw for 20 minutes. For the last 20 moves, it's still a draw here. As nothing's going to happen unless Daniel blunders massively. Okay. Cool stuff. So, fellas, I'm going to come back tomorrow, then Monday, and I'm trying, I'll try to cover tomorrow, at least the last part of the games. And thanks for joining today anyway, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it so. And we'll be in touch, guys. See you guys very soon then. Thank you very much. Enjoy the remainder of the Sunday, and hopefully we're going to see each other soon. Cheers, Mohammed. Thanks, guys. Marlon, thank you, brother. And the others, Amarian, if I hadn't missed anyone, okay. And Simpson. Cheers. See you guys.